partner, I talk about those roles and the salary structures and how high they can get, but then also the salaries of CFOs.
Yeah.
CFOs, they make a good living. And
They do.
even today's news, I don't know if you saw today's news, that Alphabet CEO, a CFO, just joined Alphabet, got lured away, I think, from Eli Lilly,
Yeah.
$9.9 million signing bonus.
Yeah.
Come out as CFO. And in my book, I have a story about a guy I was very close friends with. We actually played softball together. And he went through the ranks, started at, after he left KPMG, went up to CBS,
Yeah.
moved up the ranks to CBS, ultimately was asked to be CEO, but right before the Viacom merger. And then the Viacom merger happened and he got his payout and over 125 million.
Welcome to AFO Wealth Management Forward, a podcast powered by Arrowroot Family Office that's at the intersection of accounting, wealth management, behavioral finance, technology, and entrepreneurship. We help accounting firms and financial advisors grow their practice by going beyond the numbers as we learn from industry leaders and subject matter experts to discover the secret to their success. A podcast that highlights everything from the transformative power of AI to embracing the human-first approach of behavioral finance to help you understand the psychological and emotional relationships to money and meaning. Here is your host, Rory Henry, director at Arrowroot Family Office and author of Holistic Guide to Wealth Management.
All right. Hello, everyone. I have another great guest joining me today. He is a CPA. He's also the SVP and Chief Financial Officer of the American Management Association. He's also the author of Green Shades, Accountants Aren't Supposed to Die This Way, which is a financial resource-oriented novel in the form of a darkly humorous crime thriller. I'm excited to have him on the show with us today. So without further ado, let me introduce our guest, Greg Adams. Greg, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Rory. I'm excited to be here, and I've seen a few of your podcasts and always enjoy them.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Let me set the table here because I want to read part of the crime thriller or the synopsis that I saw on your site. And it says, after Dex McCord, a top manager at a large New York City accounting firm, sends his colleague and friend Tony Young to India to complete a simple audit, the firm is shocked to learn that Tony's body has washed up on the northern beaches of Sydney, Australia. An unfortunate victim of a tragic surfing accident, the authorities conclude, but Dex has big questions about what really happened to Tony. McCord's quest to get to the bottom of his friend's death sends him on a dangerous roller coaster ride from United States and Australia to India and Barbados as he finds himself ensnared in an international cover-up with major global consequences. All right. We set the table there. My question is, well, I'll give our audience a little bit of background on yourself here, Greg, and then what motivated you to write this crime thriller?
Yeah, Rory, I've been the traditional public accountant for 11 years. I was back then it was Pete Mark, the Big Eight, and then been CFO of a few public companies and some private companies, and now I'm with a not-for-profit, a 100-year-old American Management Association that trains in leadership and management. And over the course of my career, and I hear this from a lot of accountants and people in finance like yourselves, you're asked, hey, what do you do? And I'm an accountant, or I'm in finance, or I'm a money manager. And the people are, that's nice. Yeah. So then you have to go the but answer, I call it.
Right.
But I do a lot of cool things. I'm not your green eye shade accountant. I'm always have a playbook to navigate these dangerous waters of finance and preserving my clients' wealth, preserving or keeping them out of jail, first and foremost. So that's a big CFO role, especially with public companies.
Yeah.
A few rogue CEOs always like to do crazy things. So I really wanted to write a novel in a fun way that people could retain a lot of the background of what happens in the accounting world.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do. And this character, main character, Dex McCord, he's a larger than life character, and he's think of a guy like Jack Reacher, like that big guy that's always trying to do the right thing.
So did you model them after Jack Reacher, or did you have somebody that you worked with over the years that you modeled Dex after?
It's various things. Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan. Actually, I also read a lot of historical fiction, and throughout history, there's a lot of larger than life characters. And I thought, why don't I make a finance novel, almost like an accounting historical fiction novel? And that way, I don't know about you, but it was hard for me in school to retain anything about history.
Right.
Yeah. But once I started reading, this historical fiction novels, I started retaining more and more, and that's my goal with Green Shades, is that you start reading these stories, and so in the background, there's always a little bit of finance in there. When I get too technical, I throw them back in the exhibits. I don't want to break up the story, the exciting story of that went on. And I do have to warn you, the book does contain some violence and sexual tension, numbers, and also accounting equations. So I do have to put that warning there.
Yeah.
Are you an accountant looking to generate more revenue and secure your future success as automation and artificial intelligence revolutionize the accounting profession? If so, contact us at AFO Wealth Management Forward. We specialize in helping accountants and advisors just like you build a custom brand to pinpoint your optimal clientele, generate highly qualified leads through our data-driven digital marketing, and execute wealth management growth services to bring more value to your firm and your client's life. Our strategic approach to branding, marketing, and wealth management is carefully tailored to attract ideal clients, increase customer retention rates, and cultivate lasting relationships with clients across generations. Visit wealthmanagementforward.com to book your free consultation to find out how you can elevate your practice.
I mean, I think there'd be a great collab if authors out there, the John Grishams of the world, the Stephen King, can start putting accounting principles throughout their novels to give the reader a foundation of business there. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the storylines in Green Shades. Let's go into maybe some of these chapters, because you weave in this, the story throughout Australia, the US, India, Barbados.
Yeah, fundamentally, what was going on was that Dex McCord sends us from Australia to India to do just a simple audit of a XBRL SEC documents data tagging company that, as a lot of people, many people may not know, every document that's filed with the SEC, particularly earnings releases and 10Qs and 10Qs, they have hidden software tags, and those software tags is called XBRL, and that makes all the filings machine readable. So if it's machine readable, traders through algorithms or whatever can grab the numbers as soon as they're filed with the SEC and then put it all into their trading models, for example. And so the story kind of, Tony Young, who's the friend of the protagonist, who ends up dead on the northern beaches of Australia, he uncovers something going on in India around these XBRL SEC filings that have not yet been filed with the SEC, but there's something going on.
Yeah, I loved how you weaved in the narrative of the thriller and then give examples and exhibits of actual material that's digestible. So, I think you're onto something here. I think we can tell our story better and make the accounting profession more attractive. I just came back from AICPA Engage, and the big issue is the pipeline problem that is plaguing the profession. So let's kind of dive into that. What are your thoughts on maybe how we can solve the pipeline problem to get more students and kids attractive to the profession?
Yeah. The pipeline problem is I think been going on for the last couple of decades, ever since the AICPA in their infinite wisdom decided to increase the number of credits to sit for the CPA exam from 120 to 150.
Yeah.
And basically, that means you need an extra year in university or college, or while you're working, take classes at night. And I think that that was one thing that impacted the profession. Between 2020 and 2022, there's about a 17% decline in people taking the exam. So the backlog, the pipeline of
1990 to 2020 was like a 50% decline.
That's correct, and it was all pretty much because of that extra 30 hours in training. And it's unfortunate that the decline's even higher among minorities, because let's face it, college is expensive. So going that extra year, and then the debate is, all right, do I do the extra year for the accountant for a CPA exam, or do I do it for my MBA?
Right.
So yeah, I know the AICPA addressed the issue, the pipeline issue in 2023. Last year, they did a 12-point plan, let's call it.
Yeah, the National Pipeline Advisory Group. I think
That's
they
right.
put together,
That's correct. And their plan was, made it's a good plan, but the first thing, for example, is experience, learn, and earn. So they're saying, okay, well, don't take the exam right out of school. Work for a while, study at night, get those extra credits, and find that helps. And then there's a proposal with the 529 plans to let some of those costs be absorbed by the CPA exam. And they came out with 12 points, and they're all pretty detailed. But the very last point is improve the CPA image and brand. And I would contend that should be the number one. Absolutely. And so my novel is trying to push that, make a really exciting character that isn't accounting and auditing and finance, and make students, really happy, want to follow and be in that profession. And I think the branding issue is a real issue with CPAs. KPMG and Grant Thornton and BDO and others, there's a reason they sponsor golf outings. They don't want the team out there, and you see Phil Nicholson, for example, wearing his KPMG hat.
Yeah.
But the AICPA is sitting on 125 million in cash.
Yep.
And I really think some of that cash, which is mostly dues from members like myself, should be used towards branding.
Yeah, because they're going to need the influx of people paying those dues here in the future. If we continue to have these numbers decline, they're not going to have that war chest. And the CFP just came out with a recent campaign. It's got to be a CFP, and they're doing a lot of commercials here. So I know there's a way. I know the AICPA is starting to do more marketing around the versatility of the profession. Dan Hood, Accounting Today, just wrote an article. He says that many people, when they hear accounting, they think, tax preparers, right? But he says that, inside the accounting world, they're business advisors, they're tax planners, they're strategic advisors, they're wealth managers.
Yep.
So I think it really is. Words are important and words carry weight. And unfortunately, the word accounting doesn't carry the weight or the gravitas as other words such as business or finance, right? Or
Right.
Wealth management or investment advisory or investment banking. So it's how do we, my thought always was, and I talked to Dan Hood about this at dinner, I said, how do we embed accounting into maybe those more attractive names of business and finance, and don't scare people away from saying, hey, this is the degree in accounting. And then they just think they're going to be sitting behind a desk crunching numbers all day, Greg.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. One reason I got into accounting is besides liking math, a lot of accountants like math.
Yeah.
But the accounting firms have extraordinary amount of opportunity.
Yeah.
And when I say opportunity, you can go in and you could be involved in almost any industry and learn almost any industry. Yeah. I was fortunate enough also in my 11 years of public accounting to spend 3 years in Sydney, Australia, which happens to be a main backdrop for my book, of course. And I won't tell you what happens in Sydney, but a lot of crazy things happen in Sydney in my book.
Is it in real life and in the book?
You speak to most writers, and writing is about two things: research and your life experience.
Your life experience, yeah.
And and Green Shades, that's the case for me. There's a little bit of half truths in there, and some of them are pretty funny. But it's important to make the profession be branded a little bit better in that it is an exciting profession, and you're relied upon to safeguard assets, to preserve wealth, to grow wealth, and everyone looks towards the CFO, and the CFO now is wearing tons of hats, whether CFO, controller, accounting manager. We're wearing 10 hats. Risk management being the biggest one, managing the risk. So there's so many opportunities. I was fortunate to have different audits from Citibank to Reader's Digest to Pepsi, all different industries, which allowed me then to be CFO of many different industries. And so it's I think a important point that students should understand. I would love for my book to be part of a curriculum and accounting program. I think it'll be fun to have them realize, oh wow, there's a lot going on in accounting. And I try to portray that in some of the exhibits that I have in the book as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I've said that accounting now, many small and medium-sized firms, advise small and medium-sized businesses, which are the backbone of our economy, Greg. And really, they're almost like mini McKinseys or Bains back in the day. They have the power of technology here to advise those business owners on how to grow their business. So it's a wonderful profession. I think just it's got that branding issue that we're coming against, because you can do so much. I mean, private equity loves the profession. They see the opportunity to sell to and through small to medium-sized businesses. You could do so many different things. I call it the financial flywheel of services that we can provide. That's why I trademarked Advise Roar. And I said, don't be a servant to a service, but service that relationship, whether you have that in-house or you partner with other subject matter experts to provide for the many needs of that client.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, the trusted advisor. That's what our grandparents thought about accountants.
Yeah.
They're a trusted advisor. And we need to continue to hammer that home, that, accountants and people in finance and whatever profession they may be in now, that's their number one label, is a trusted advisor. And then, I think also for the students and people coming up through the ranks, the earning potential.
Yeah.
You have a tremendous amount of earning potential. And in one of my exhibits, I talk about not only the salaries and roles of public accountants, from assistant auditor, staff auditor, senior manager, partner. I talk about those roles and the salary structures and how high they can get, but then also the salaries of CFOs.
Yeah.
CFOs, they make a good living. And even today's news, I don't know if you saw today's news, that Alphabet CFO just joined Alphabet, got lured away, I think, from Eli Lilly, $9.9 million signing bonus.
Yeah.
Come out as CFO. And in my book, I have a story about a guy I was very close friends with. We actually played softball together. And he went through the ranks, started at, after he left KPMG, went up CBS, moved up the ranks to CBS. Ultimately was asked to be CEO, but right before the Viacom merger, and then the Viacom merger happened, and he got his payout, and over 125 million. Yeah, as an accountant, as a public signing in accounting. So the earning potential, I think, is important. That it's a work-life balance, obviously, and one works hard to get there, but it's a very comfortable living to be in the finance arena. Yeah.
Many times a recession-proof business. I like it. Now let's kind of go back to the books. I want to have you talk about maybe some of the inside information that you've weaved out throughout the story. Can you talk about what inside tips or topics about the accounting world that you included throughout the narrative?
Yeah, there's a wide range of topics. Some of it's about what's in an SEC filing, for example, the different types of information in an SEC filing. Another is I have the 10 steps of an IPO process. And which is always interesting.
We got to put that in the show notes.
That's right, because it's I've been through a few of them, and there's certain steps, and from the bake-off, picking your investment banker, to the pricing that night, where you're going to price your stocks. So there's a lot of steps in between, and that's exciting. And I also list a number of ratios in the exhibits that is leveraged in the book by the evildoers who are getting some of this SEC information and using that quant data trading analysis with those ratios to make sure they beat the market. So a lot of those accounting type of information and processes and procedures that is weaved in and out of the book.
I love it. Now I'm working with some Hollywood development people, so I am fascinated with film and Hollywood and movies. Now, if this was going to be made into a movie here, Greg, who would the main characters be played by?
Oh boy, I would probably want to say a young Russell Crowe. He's a little older now, so
Well, you're thinking Australian, right? So
yeah, I think Australian.
yeah, maybe one of the Hemsworths, right?
One of the Hemsworth, definitely one of the Hemsworth.
Yeah.
You know what, or maybe have an athlete. I know there's a few good athletes. Tom Brady could always do something like this. I mean,
Yeah.
he's available, I think. But yeah, it is. You know, it's it's been fun. A lot of people have who've read the book have come up to me and love the storyline. And the first thing they said is, "This really should be a movie."
A movie.
And really, the international flavor is fun. Whether it's in Bangalore, India, there's a few scenes in Bangalore that they're very interested. To Sydney, downtown Sydney, the northern beaches of Sydney,
Yeah.
the shark nets, the beautiful dive instructor in Sydney, to New York City, to going to certain bars at night and having trivia night, and going to MoMath Museum down in the village. Exciting stuff, all the way to Barbados, where they're at a polo match and they're at a villa, and it's a real true international financial crime thriller, and I hope the readers find it exciting. And there's a lot of good, solid information weaved in and out of the novel.
Yeah, I mean, if we had an accounting version of James Bond, I mean, that would bring people into the profession, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the other comment I get is, when is the next book coming out? Because I do leave a little bit of a cliffhanger at the end. So we'll see when the next book comes out. I have to always balance my time between being a real CFO during the day.
Yeah.
The writer.
Well, let's talk about that real CFO job, because you're with the American Management Association. Can you talk about the work you're doing with them?
Yeah, American Management Association, and I think also, again, this is critical for pretty much everyone in business and personally, but also particularly for the finance profession. And that a lot of our courses, and we have over 300 of them, and we'll train 20,000 people a year. We've trained millions over the decades, and what I really emphasize for young accountants is build those soft skills.
Yeah.
Anyone in finance, build those soft skills. I call them also power skills.
Yeah.
Power skills being communication skills, presentation skills,
Yes.
decision making, and leadership. It's important to develop those skills. In a book, I have a T account education model.
Yeah.
And the old accounting T accounts. And on
Right.
top,
Wide and deep, right?
yeah, wide and deep. Yeah, the wide power skills and deep technical skills. And technical skills are pretty much given in accounting. You know the gap and what goes on.
They're table stakes now.
Yes, right. And when you don't know the answer, you look it up or you talk to your advisors, and they'll find the answer for you if it gets too technical.
Well, in the age of AI, we're going to be able to, get that knowledge pretty quickly with the computer. I argue, and it's what I talk about in my book, Greg, is the human first approach. Really connecting with people, actively listening, finding out what matters most to them, being empathetic. So having more of those personal skills to develop, your practice, to provide more value to your clients and help them really get to where they want to go in life. I'm a big believer in the platinum rule, not so much the golden rule, do unto others as you would done unto you, but do unto others as they would want done unto them. And we can only really do that when we have a deep discovery of understanding what matters most to our clients.
That's right. And you hit on one thing, and that's listening. Listening is so important. We have AMA has a critical thinking course, and they really drive home. Part of your critical thinking is listening. You really need to listen to what your customer and your clients and your colleagues are saying. And those soft skills, again, are just so important. And unfortunately, in the US, a lot of companies will take a great individual contributor and make them a manager.
Yeah. And
that's great. But the unfortunate thing is 65% of those people have no formal management training.
Yeah.
They need to get that training. And I think it's crucial to have training along the way in your career. And another big part of the book is the protagonist, the hero, Dex McCord. He has a CFO he leans on, a mentor. And it's always good to have a mentor, to get advice and to sort of get direction on how your career should go.
Yeah, they talked about that at AICPA Engage. They said that 87%, I believe, of those who responded to the survey said they would connect with future members of the workforce to mentor them as a new accountant or as a CPA exam candidate. So there are people like yourself, Greg, out there, myself, who are willing to help and want to guide those people along, because we see the ability for them to grow in this profession and why it's such a wonderful profession. So I think there's people out there that are willing to mentor. We just got to get more people, at the top of the funnel.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. Yeah, it's so important, mentorship. And as you said, everyone's willing to help.
Yeah.
And so one advice I always have for young people, don't hesitate to leverage your network. Especially older people, and could be even a friend of your father's.
Yeah.
They want to help. People want to help you succeed in your career and in life.
Yeah. Your network is your net worth many times.
That's right.
This is awesome. And Greg, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to share with our audience?
The one last thing to share is I want to make an offer. I'm going to offer a $3,000 scholarship to any AMA course, American Management Association course. Go to amanet.com, .org, I'm sorry, amanet.org, and pick a course and reach out to you, Rory, or reach out to me. My website is cpa-author.com, and there you'll find my contact information, greg@cpa-author.com. But the $3,000 scholarship, I'm going to have to limit it to the first 5 people. But look at our courses. We have a whole list of courses that I think will help not only accountants, but all individuals.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Thank you so much, Greg. We're going to put all that in the show notes. I appreciate you coming on. I look forward to having you back on when you get the second book done here, Greg.
All right. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Take
care.
All opinions expressed by Rob Santos and Rory Henry on this website podcast interview are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Arrowroot Family Office LLC or their parent company or affiliates, and may have been previously disseminated on television, radio, internet, or another medium. You should not treat any opinion expressed by anyone as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy, but only as an expression of their opinions. Past performance is not indicative of future results.